Hi, this is Doug Higgins. I feel like I should apologize in advance. I showed up to the Flaggstaf Roundup with a brand new phone, and I thought I had downloaded the proper app for recording, the same app that I've used at previous roundups, but unfortunately it was not the same app, and it had to be converted in order for me to get it into my editing software. So during that conversion we lost a great deal in terms of fidelity. I promise you I will have this issue addressed before the Kaibab Roundup, which is the last weekend in June. If you would like more information, feel free to call me. You'll be able to see that in the YouTube.
All right, and without further ado, please help me give a warm welcome to Miss Marci from Gilbert, Arizona.
All right. Hi, family. Woo! I'm Marci. I'm definitely an alcoholic. I like to set a timer because even though I'm super nervous right now, once I get rolling, this girl can talk about recovery, and so I want to honor your time. So I just wanted to take a minute and have you look around. Look at our lives. Just for today, we get to sit in the cool trees surrounded by miracles. And I just invite our Creator, whatever that is for you, to come into our hearts and thank you for this beautiful day. This is not what I had intended when I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, I can promise you. Getting in front of people was the last thing I would have ever done. I have super cotton mouth. By the way, this only happens when I speak now, so progress. But I found a home here that I didn't even know I was looking for. I was looking for something, always, from as little as I can remember. Something. Just help me fit in with you. Just help me to feel connected to you. Just help me feel a part of. Just help me be like you. Just help me, feel how you feel. Do the things you do. And I never really found that feeling of okayness. I grew up. I'm an only child. I grew up in Phoenix. I'm born and raised in Phoenix. Yeah. Now I have the super blessing of living up here in the summers and down in Tempe in the winters. And wow, what a life, right? And by the way, I get a little emotional. I want to welcome our new friends, and I want to let you know that you don't ever have to feel how you did the first day you came in, or maybe how you're feeling right now if you don't want to. And we have a way out. And it's by going in with someone else. Not alone. Because I tried that, I grew up, my mom is not one of us, but she was always attracted to people that were like us. And so when I say that, what I'm including in that statement is a whole lot of violence, a whole lot of insanity, a whole lot of pretending like everything's okay on the outside, a whole lot of craziness on the inside, but no way to express it. Whew. I was telling my friends before we started, I go, I get really nervous, and then when I get up there, it literally shakes out of me, so here it is, it's shaking out now. And I always, when I was a kid, I was really into, sports. I represented the state of Arizona in running for the girls in my age group. I had this huge dream of going to the Olympics one day. I'm not sure I was that good, but it was a dream I had as a kid. Bless you. And, I think for me, that was like a great escape. From the very beginning, it was a way to get out of myself and like be around other people and like not have to feel the feelings that were going on at home. And so in that, I also became a really good liar during that time, a really good thief. I spent a lot of time protecting my image and how you thought of me, even as a child, what you thought of me. I was super anxious and just uncomfortable on my own skin. And when I was running, when I was playing soccer, I didn't care about that stuff, And I mean, there are neurological issues that people, like literally there's science that backs that up. If you exercise, it releases endorphins. So I think that was part of it, but also I just didn't have to think, right? And I excelled at it, and it also filled that ego of like, oh, I'm good at something, and I get that positive attention and stuff. And it's not that I didn't have that at home, because I did. But it was like always short-lived, and also you just never knew like when the other shoe was going to drop. Does anybody know relates to what I'm talking about? You just don't know when the smiles were going to turn into screams. That's a really hard way to live. And I swore, like, at the, age of 10, 11, maybe even younger than that, that I was never going to ever let a man treat me like that. I was never going to be like that. I was never going to allow that. And, of course, being a good alcoholic, way before I ever even picked up a drink, I found ways to manipulate and hide that was going on. I got in a lot of trouble early on. I was the motor mouth, and I was always the girl on the report card. She has a lot of potential if she would just be quiet. Because I was like really extreme. I'm either like super, without God in my life, I'm super quiet and terrified of you, or I'm the extreme opposite, like, just doing everything I can to create destruction. And I don't think it's conscious, but that's how I am. And so I remember even at an early age, I would escape through books and TV. That was like my first alcohol. You know what I mean? Like it helps me to not feel. I could become those characters. And I literally as a child like used to pretend to be these characters I would read about. And I would have like this whole fairy tale, and I'd go to school, and in my head, no one else around me knew what was going on when I was in school, and I knew how to act okay around other people. I'm a really great actress. And as soon as I would actually be in my own spotlight, there I was with my little characters. And I don't know, people call it coping mechanisms. It's just what worked for me. I didn't know any different, When you live in that kind of environment, it's your only safety, And it didn't feel safe to be me. So I can't even tell you the first time I drank, but I think it was in Rocky Point. My grandparents used to have a place in Cholla Bay, and they used to have big parties where people would drink, and I would help people finish off their drinks that they left behind with one of my friends. I think I might have been 9 or 10. If I'd have known I would be doing this stuff, I would have paid more attention to the timeline. But I think I was 9 or 10-ish, maybe 11. And I remember immediately, though, like, oh, where can we get some more of this? I remember feeling that feeling of like, and it wasn't like I heard the gentleman last night who did such a wonderful job sharing for us. It wasn't like I immediately wanted more instantly all the time, but it was definitely on my radar, like anytime that opportunity comes up, let's make that happen. 9, 10, 11, And I got really sick. I'm a puker. Any other pukers in the audience? Woo, pukers! So then, then there's ways to try to control that. Just eat more or do more and, whatever, and then you puke more. And so I really love the effects produced by alcohol, as the book talks about really clearly. The ism was alive and well in me before I ever took a drink. I want you to hear me say that. Because it is my thinking and my separation from you that keeps me sick, even in recovery. Right? Sorry. And that's what makes me a real alcoholic, right? Once I put that stuff in my system, I don't know what's going to happen. I might be able to stop this time, given sufficient reason, the book calls it, or the next time, I might not. And I just never really know what's going to happen. At the age of 14, I ended up at Peter Piper Pizza, urinating all over myself, standing on the table, preaching the Word of God, which I have no business doing because I have no experience with that whatsoever, by the way. I did not grow up with spirituality in my life, other than the form of love from friends and family, right? But what I'm talking about is like any practices of spirituality. And we didn't go to church. When I was younger, I used to go to, my girlfriend had a Bible study, or no, what do they call it? Sunday school, that her and her family went to. And if I spent the night at their house, I'd go with them on Sunday morning. And my only experience with that was like, that I was going to burn in hell forever. And this is way before I ever drank. That's probably not what they said. But what I heard was, if you're a liar, if you're a thief, if you do manipulative things, blah, 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 then you're going to burn in hell forever. And so, like, immediately as a child, like, I don't trust God. That's not a solution for me. Even though I was always looking for a solution. I'm big time into, like, philosophizing with you and reading tons of books. I've always been a seeker my whole life. And so at 14, as I'm at the Peter Piper Pizza, I end up, they called the police, or the paramedics, and saved my life. And luckily we went out, me and my cousin and my friend. It was during Christmas vacation. Because if we would have stayed at their house, they may not have called anyone and I probably would have died. I had alcohol poisoning to the extreme, and I had taken some veterinarian pills along with her dad's pills and some other things. I'm not selective about what I put in my body when I want to feel different. I'm just going to leave it at that out of illness of purpose. But now you know, whatever you got, I'm open, okay? And so I ended up in the hospital, and when I came to, there was a neon light very similar to this. There was this woman hanging over my head, and I'm like, "Oh, are you an angel?" Now, luckily, I didn't remember anything about Peter Piper Pizza and urinating all over myself and all that. There are blessings in blackouts, right? But then you have loved ones that like to tell you all about it later, and you're like, "Oh my God." But the nurse who was hanging over my head, she said, "No, honey, but if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're going to meet some really soon." And, you know, in the book it talks about a moment of clarity, like you just have those God shots of like, boom, like here's miracle message right here, boom, pay attention. I'm 14 years old. I'm like so freaking loaded that I can't even see straight. But I remember those words as if they just happened this morning. And then I passed back out, and I came to again, and my mom was the next person I saw. And you know that look that our loved ones get? Somewhere between like holy terror and gratitude that you're okay, and I'm going to fucking kill you. Right? That look our loved ones have, because they're just so terrified, but also relieved, but also terrified. And I remember I witnessed her eyes, and I said to myself, in my soul, I meant every single word inside, I'm never going to do this again. And I was like super sick. They had like pumped me full of charcoal, and you're like literally really sick from that, which is a good thing, you get it out of your system. So I really meant it in that moment, you know? And over again, the book talks about these experiences. And if your experience isn't like mine, don't compare it, please. Find someone that has one like yours, because there's plenty of us around. What I want you to relate to is the feelings that I'm sharing. The complete insanity of never ever going to do this again and really meaning it. I ended up dying twice in the hospital. They brought me back twice. I didn't see anything special other than those two women that I told you about. I don't mean that they weren't special, but what I mean is like there wasn't like some kind of light or whatever. You know, I'm a seeker, man. I would have like dug on that. But I was really ill, and it was Christmas time, and I was like really remorseful and full of shame and guilt and anger at myself, and I'm never going to do this again. And then I didn't for like 2 weeks. You know, back then we used to try to get like Robitussin, DM. It was really easy to get. We'd stand in front of Walgreens and have people buy us booze and smokes and stuff. It was a different world than how it is now, and I was given the opportunity to do it again, and I did. Because that's what I do. I'm an alcoholic. And in the book it talks about how I don't have the ability to recall that information that I just told you about with sufficient force to stop me from doing it again. And it's not like I even think this time's going to be different. It's just like, oh, who cares? Like, let's just go, right? And so I've continued to live like that for several years. And, you know, everything I talked about that I was never, got the vibe going. All right. Everything I talked about that I was never going to do, I ended up in those situations, you know, and a whole lot of violence, a whole lot of sexual violence, a whole lot of complete insanity. By the time I was 18, I was turned on to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous in H&I meeting at Camelback Hospital at Thunderbird Samaritan. I see you, sister. So those people weren't talking at me. They weren't counseling me. They weren't trying to convince me of anything. They weren't